Hey everyone, today I'm coming to you with a review on the brand new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 Peter B. Parker, or rather, inspired by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker. I got this figure at GameStop Canada, and yeah, that is a very weird and odd logo on this card. The only figure in this wave to say inspired by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and that kind of is a little bit of a bummer for me because he does have a design and a costume, and he is going to be in the upcoming Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 movie, so it would have been nice to get a design of that, or just get the full Spider-Man figure without the sweatpants. But here we do get some reuse, and I do have to say I didn't like this figure at all when it was revealed. I have definitely grown on it. It probably is my least favorite of this wave, but I'm not really going to shame Hasbro for doing what they did here, as we got to keep in mind all of the figures, all the other figures in this wave are completely new sculpts, and Hasbro rarely does that. And even being said, this figure does have a lot of new parts, being the arms, the head, and the feet. So yeah, there is new parts on here, and at the same time, I do understand the reuse. But that being said, I do have a little bit to say, not a lot to say, on this Peter B. Parker. So let's get into the brand new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 Peter B. Parker, or scratch that, inspired by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker. Now, as always, before I go over the figure, I do want to start off with the packaging. Not much new here. This is the last figure, thankfully, that I am reviewing with this box. Love the figures, don't like the boxes, so I'm excited not to have to talk about these boxes anymore. But anyway, you do have Miles, Spider-Gwen, and Spider-Man 2099. The only thing different with this one is that logo, like I mentioned, as well as the actual name of the figure. Marvel Legends series logo, the Spider logo there, Hasbro, Peter B. Parker. There you have the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 logo. There's the price at GameStop Canada. On the back, you have all the other figures in this wave, which I do have reviews for each and every one of them out now. So if you haven't checked them out, definitely do that. There you have the same logo that is on the front. A rendered image of the figure, which doesn't look too hot. None of the renders on these figures really do. But other than that, not much more going on here. So without further ado, let's get into the review for the brand new Marvel Legends Peter B. Parker. Now, the only accessories included with this Peter B. Parker is a extra set of fists. Nothing too crazy going on here. No black wash or paint, just molded in this kind of standard Marvel Legends red color. And the rest of the figure is in that same color as well. The new parts here are the head sculpt, the arms, and the feet, as I mentioned. And the reuse is the torso and the legs from the previous Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker figure, which I will do a comparison with later. But the actual new arms do look very good. They are pinless, but at that very simple. This figure probably would benefit from like a black wash, but at the same time in the movie, this does really look like him. So yeah, it does look kind of cheap and simple, but at the same time, keep in mind, he does, at least to my recollection, look like this in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, and probably looks something like this in the upcoming Across the Spider-Verse movie. And the main bummer with this figure is in the trailer, he has a daughter, Mayday Parker, I believe is her name, and we don't get any representation of that here. So hopefully, I'm holding out hope that we either get more figures from this wave, or not this wave, this movie, or get a second wave with like Ben Reilly, maybe an unmasked Spider-Man 2099 with claws, and a actually updated and accurate Across the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker. That would be cool, but as for this figure right here, really not much more to go over. Like I said, just the gray sweats, the same upper torso as, or the same torso in general, rather, as the previous Peter B. Parker. The head sculpt does look very good, and definitely does capture the essence of the character in the movie. You definitely can see that animated flair to the whole design of this figure. The feet, they look like feet. They look like Spider-Man feet, that's for sure. And he can crawl. A lot of these figures have these kicks, these shoes on, and I'm kind of wondering what's the logic there. How do they climb with their feet? But he knows what's going on. He is just using his bare feet. This will actually be quite a comfy costume to swing around in. But that being said, it would have been really nice for them to just give us a full red, full costume Spider-Man Peter B. Parker. But at this point, we got the arms. They started off with the torso, then they give us the arms and the head. I think sooner rather than later, eventually, we will probably get this full figure in the full costume design. But other than that, I really don't have much more to go over here. It is quite a simple sculpt, but it is quite a cool and fun sculpt at that. So without further ado, let's get into the articulation for this Marvel Legends Peter B. Parker. Now, for the articulation on this Peter B. Parker, it is good and bad, and you will see why. The head does go down that much, up, full 360, a little bit of tilt. You can't get that really sad, mopey walk pose. I was thinking of doing something like that for the thumbnail, but then I looked at all my other thumbnails and I was like, wow, they're all like kicking and flipping and doing all this crazy stuff. It'd be kind of weird and inconsistent if he was just standing there, but yeah, that would have been kind of funny. But anyways, not much more going on with the head. The arms go up. This is the main problem with this figure, articulation-wise, at least for me. Very, very stiff. So definitely be careful moving this figure. I definitely could see them breaking, or just right here breaking off if you don't know what you're doing. And honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. So hopefully that doesn't happen with mine, but they go up that much. I would not push it any further. Down, full 360. Definitely heat this figure up in some hot water or with a hair dryer before you start posing it, as I recommend with kind of most of the figures, but especially with this guy. And then all the hands, all the sets, well, just 2 sets go down, up, and full 360 on a horizontal hinge. And I don't think I said that, but not butterfly joints, double jointed pinless elbows, which do look very good. And then the ab crunch goes down that much, back a little bit to the side, full 360. But he also does have that joint, which this is really good. This is the part that I really like with the articulation, is you can get a lot of movement there. You can kind of see the big ball joint underneath. So that is definitely a nice bonus, and you can kind of make him look a little chubby if you like pose it right like that. Maybe have him hold it. I don't know, something like that. There you go. Ugh, I had too much pizza. Spider-Man can't have too much pizza, let's be honest. He's a true New Yorker, eh? Legs kick forward that much. Back, splits, upper thigh cuts. I actually do enjoy the kind of more gummier plastic. It isn't too gummy that it'll like wreck the figure, but it is gummy enough that it is quite pliable. Upper thigh cut though. Double jointed pinless knees, which do look quite good. And then there is boot rotation, or like ankle rotation, and then the ankles go up, down, and beautiful ankle rocker pivot for the feet. Ooh. Now, first for comparisons, here we have the Peter B. Parker next to the Spider-Gwen, as well as the Miles Morales. The animated style looks very good on each of these individual figures, but especially comes to life when you have all of them together. Here we have Peter B. Parker next to Spider-Punk, as well as Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. Here we have Peter B. Parker next to the Prowler from Into the Spider-Verse, as well as the Spot from Across the Spider-Verse. Here we have Peter B. Parker next to Spider-Man 2099, as well as Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Ham. And here we have the most important comparison, arguably, with the Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse. These two do look pretty good together. And then, of course, if Miles would stand there, we have the previous Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker in kind of the homeless look. There you can see, like I mentioned, he does have new feet. And this figure did come with an extra head in which the mask was kind of pulled up. I was looking for that head sculpt. I have a bin of a bunch of my head sculpts, and I couldn't find it. I'm sure it's there, but I didn't find it. But yeah, it does definitely work with this figure, as does this head sculpt. As you can see, just pop it on like so, and that definitely does look very, very good. I always liked that head sculpt. I don't know why this figure peg warms so well. This one probably would as well, or will as well, but this one was everywhere. It was absolutely everywhere. I guess I understand that because, you know, if you haven't seen the movie, it's just this kind of homeless looking Spider-Man, but still, it is a very good figure overall, and there is that head sculpt on that body. And as I mentioned, he does have the same body as this one, although, wow. Kudos to Hasbro. I just noticed that the upper torso on this one, is brand new. So majority of this figure, minus the sweats and probably this lower torso, although it looks pretty, it might be different. This is a way more finer sculpt. This one looks like it's, I don't know if you can kind of see what I mean. This one is way more, I don't know how to describe it, just not defined like this one. This is way more plasticky. This is a little bit more rubbery, I'd say. But yeah, this is two different upper torsos. So very impressed that Hasbro did that. But other than that, not much more going on here. Like I said, same sweats, although they are different colors. This one, I imagine, is more accurate, as it is based off of more, you know, better concept art, and this was probably designed later on, as this one was designed immediately after the movie, so probably a little bit of concept art, but yeah, pretty similar overall, but at the same time, two very good figures in my opinion. Here we have Peter B. Parker next to the Cyborg Spider-Woman. And then lastly, for comparisons, here we have the Peter B. Parker next to a MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man figure, a standard Bucky Cap Hydra Soldier, as well as the retro-carded, animated, cel-shaded Spider-Man. Now, for my final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 Peter B. Parker, if I'm being honest, this is probably my least favorite figure of the wave, but even that being said, I still quite enjoy it, and I don't hate it or really even dislike it by any means. I thought I was, but after getting it and playing with it and, heating it up, I think that is very important. It is a very, very fun figure to play around with. The articulation isn't great, but around this area, it definitely is very, very good and makes this figure very fun. But yeah, I don't dislike this figure, and I've actually played around with it probably a little bit more than some of the other figures in this wave, and I don't know why that is. It probably is just because of that ab crunch articulation, but yeah, I actually do enjoy this figure a lot, and I definitely think you might as well. It is probably an acquired taste once you've played around with it for a while, and especially with no Build-A-Figure piece and with the price in account, it is definitely a hefty purchase. So with the price in account for my rating being in between $36.99 and $33.29, I'm probably going to give this figure a 7 out of 10. I think that is a fair rating. I actually quite enjoy it. I probably should give it a little bit of a higher rating by my standards, but I think a 7 is fair enough. But as always, let me know what you think of this figure in the comments below. Is it better than you thought? Is it the same or worse than you thought? Just start a conversation in the comments below. Or are you going to pick it up? Have I swayed you to pick it up? Just start a conversation like I said, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. I have been Jagger Collector, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.